Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I've been begging for some news to break, and unfortunately, it's about someone potentially leaving the club. It's no secret by now that LIEL ABADA's future at Celtic is uncertain, but have we had a little bit more insight as to where he could be playing his football next year? All cards on the table now, and there are suitors for the very talented winger. Welcome back. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. Today is kind of a mini version of a Celtic transfer talk, isn't it? Because we're going to be talking mainly about LIEL ABADA and potentially his transfer away from Celtic this coming summer. We've already made numerous videos on this channel surrounding LIEL ABADA and his contract situation. It's been made very known, you could say, that he's not too keen on signing a new contract as of yet here at Celtic. And why should he? He's still got 3 years left on his deal. There's no rush for him to put pen to paper at this moment. And he's probably wanting to assess his options. He's had a very strong start to his Celtic career 2 seasons in. He's been one of our most talented and brightest prospects. So, you know, it's all very acceptable for him to evaluate these options. And we've heard murmurs of teams who might be interested. And last night, news broke from Sky Sports that one of Europe's top sides are interested in taking him in. So Sky Sports reported last night that AJAX have joined the hunt for LIEL ABADA. This was the post they published on skysportsnews.com. They said AJAX are positioning themselves to be in the hunt for Celtic's LIEL ABADA this summer. The Dutch club have been watching him this season and are monitoring his situation at the club. That is the report they published, along with some details about Liel's season with us here at Celtic. As we know, a lot of appearances from the bench, but still a massive contribution to the success of this campaign. He's, chipped into that amazing goal tally that we have right now, 102 league goals alone. He's been a big part of that, whether he's been starting or he's been on the bench. He's chipped in his fair share to the numbers. And AJAX are apparently interested, which is a move that I didn't really expect in a team that's come as a surprise to me. So AJAX now join the hunt with a couple of English clubs who have been said to look into him. Crystal Palace and Southampton were 2 clubs that were mentioned over the past few months. Of course, Southampton in a situation where they're probably going down, which maybe takes them out the race. Crystal Palace, they'll probably stay up, but they are down the bottom end of the table. AJAX, a completely different move altogether for LIEL ABADA, and one which I think offers a lot more positivity and a lot more promise for him. One of Europe's biggest clubs. You're talking a kind of Celtic equivalent, aren't you? One of the dominating names of Dutch football, the most successful club in Holland, Champions League regulars, or European football regulars anyway. It's a very promising move for him. They've been so successful the last few years, AJAX, up until this season really. And they've developed so much young talent. And if LIEL ABADA is looking at AJAX as a serious option, then you've got to respect that. You've got to think to yourself, fair enough, because Celtic's great, and you're getting European football, and you're winning trophies, and you're getting that experience, and maybe for players like LIEL ABADA, it's a stepping stone to the English Premier League. But AJAX offer the same opportunity, and if not, you know, when it comes to European football anyway, maybe something a little bit stronger. They have obviously developed world-class talents over the past few years. You look at the likes of Matthias de Ligt, who got a big move to Juventus, now at Bayern Munich. You look at the likes of Frenkie de Jong, now at Barcelona, Donny van de Beek at Manchester United. You know, they've developed a lot of Anthony as well. They've developed a lot of these players, and LIEL ABADA might be thinking to himself, yeah, okay, maybe the standard's a little bit better over there. That's up for discussion. Maybe the standard's a little bit better, and maybe this is the right move for me. Now, I want to talk about what this means for Celtic and our side of things, because AJAX a great move. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I'll just get this out of the way. I wouldn't fault him for taking a move to AJAX. In fact, I think it would be a brilliant move for him. I know that this season AJAX haven't been at their best. They're in a kind of state of transition with Erik ten Hag moving on and a lot of their best players moving on. But let's be real. They have showed time and time again that when it is time for that transition, they'll come back in a very strong position. And I think LIEL ABADA can probably solidify himself as one of the key men in this new transition. Feyenoord look as though they could go on and win the league this season, but it's only a matter of time before that is AJAX doing that again. And LIEL ABADA is good enough to be starting games and contributing in big games to bring AJAX back to the top. It's a very good move for him, very big team. And if the money is on the table for him and Celtic, then it's a move that probably works for all parties. So this is where I want to talk about Celtic a little bit more. How much money would we see for LIEL ABADA, and how beneficial is this move for us? Because ultimately, we are losing one of our most talented prospects. We're losing someone who has offered so much. And how do you go on to replace a player who contributes so much to the team? How do you replace those goals, those assists? He's got a big contribution to this team. 15 goals last season, 12 goals this season. All those assists that come along with that as well. It's going to take a challenge to find someone who comes in and kind of just replaces that straight away. I'm confident we can do so. But if the money's right, then we can't really argue it, can we? Now, obviously, Ajax paid big money for Calvin Bassey from Rangers last season, or the start of this season, I should say. I think it's a deal that can rise up to around, £25 million, massive amount of money, and it's not really went the way that they would have probably expected it to. I know he struggled this season. But it shows that they're willing to pay, and they're willing to pay big for players in this league. Will the performances of Calvin Bassey maybe show a bit of reluctance, and they're willing to pay? Maybe. I don't expect us to get anywhere near £25 million before anyone puts words in our mouth. But this is look, LIEL ABADA is 21 years old, and he's done so much already at such a young age. Celtic should be out there looking for a fee upwards of £10 million anyway. We signed them for £3.5 million. If we could make £10 million at least, you're talking about a £7.5 million profit already, which would be very good business for the club, and I think it gives us a lot of money to play with in looking for a suitable replacement. And there's plenty out there. I'm not worried about replacing LIEL ABADA. You look at the squad right now, you look at the players we've got, Haksabanovic, Jota, some of the younger guys coming through now as well, Dyson Maeda, we've got wingers, and then with a wee bit of more money to play with, we're going to be able to replace them easy. But I think for Celtic, maybe this is the right time to cash in. If LIEL ABADA's not certain himself of his Celtic future, then it always comes back to the kind of comments that Ange Postecoglou has made so many times in the past. It's about, if people don't want to be here, they move on. And if they want to pursue new moves, then we let them do that, and we bring in players who do want to be here. I have nothing but respect for LIEL ABADA, and I'll still have nothing for respect for him if he wants to pursue this move. It's maybe for the best of his footballing career. It is a natural next step. But I would hope to see a good bit of money made for Celtic out of it. How much do I think we'll get? Hopefully around the region of 10 million. I think I've seen a lot of people throwing around a price tag of like 15 million. I'd be very surprised if we get a fee as high. But listen, we're in a position where we have all the leverage. There's 3 years left in his contract. He's not necessarily unhappy as far as we're aware. And listen, I think that Celtic hold the power in the negotiations for this. It's just about how much we can now pull out of Ajax, which is hopefully as much as possible. I don't know how much the likes of Crystal Palace will try and battle this. And obviously there's no certainty that he's absolutely going to head to Ajax. It's just talks, it's rumours that they're interested in him, but if we can create somewhat of a mini war between clubs, then there's possibilities for the fee to go higher and higher. But we do know that he's been looking at stuff. We've heard these comments from the manager of or the former president, of Maccabi Petah Tikva, the club he used to play for. We've heard comments from him. We've heard comments from the Israel head coach as well of the national team, and all these signs do sort of suggest that he is looking for a move after this season, and it's probably the right time to do so. I think that if he's looking for it and Celtic can find the money for it, there's no point in holding that off. Yeah, there is potential that we can keep him for another year and he can play more football and maybe his value goes up, but at the same time his contract goes down. And you're not guaranteed that next season he's going to contribute numbers as high as he has in his first 2 seasons. So maybe it is time we kind of consider these deals that could hypothetically be on the table. So basically, that's the main chunk of the story. LIEL ABADA generating interest, and we'll just need to wait and see what happens. We are now obviously approaching the final few games of the season, and there'll be more that probably comes out. It is obviously a weird sort of era we're in now. We've just lost Juranovic, we've lost Giacomakis, we could now be losing Abada. A lot of Ange's first batch of signings are now starting to move on, and we are seeing this kind of the thing that he spoke about in selling our best players and now replacing them. But we've done a cracking job. I'm not worried about losing anybody. We could lose, and touch wood doesn't happen. I could say our most effective and best player right now, most important player, could be Kyogo. He's the goal scorer. He's been unbelievable. We could lose him during the summer, but I'd be confident we can replace him because Ange's shown a great ability to go and identify a talent who is suitable to come in. So I'm not all that worried. If the money's right for Celtic, then we can't really complain. And that's that. That's me for today. That's the one big story that is broke. And there's not much else alongside it. So let me know what you think about LIEL ABADA. Should Celtic move him on in the summer if Ajax come calling? Leave it all in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.